for you. And now I would like to start the topic. Okay, the title is "Don't," but don't what? The thing is that there are few things, not few things. There are many things, but in general, in car design, when we are very young, and we are, I don't know, 16 years old, 17 years old, 18 years old, and we are approaching for the first time to car design seriously, sketching, looking at the cars, looking at the details. In general, we start with the exterior design, not really with the interior. I think that that's normal. Exterior is always more, more exciting, sexy and stuff. So that's the thing that is really catching our attention, our passion, motivating our passion. So what happens? We look at all those beautiful cars, and then we go home and we want to sketch those cars. We want to sketch a car because we are so full of all those beautiful things we saw that we feel like I'm gonna go home, I'm gonna sketch, I'm gonna make it too. I'm gonna make my version. Okay, I'm gonna make my design for the next Lamborghini or the next Ferrari, or maybe you were looking at a beautiful Porsche down the street, and then of course you get lots of ideas. But mainly we discovered that there are a lot of beautiful things done, how parts are together, how the lines are really nice and sexy, how they manage and control the surfaces, the reflections. When we put our hands on top of those volumes and shapes, we can close our eyes and we can feel, the nice passage between the top surface, the lower one, the radiuses, and all that stuff. And I know what you're thinking. Wow, Luciano, you are just describing, what do we dream? I understand because I went through that. Only striker, man, your beard looks super cool. Yeah, but I had to cut it. Only striker. Actually, I wanted to cut it today, but I didn't have time. I'm gonna cut it tomorrow. And next week I'm going to cut my hair because now I start looking like a nice lady, old lady. Okay, so what I was saying is that all that thing, it's part of our life. It's our passion. And if we look at those cars that way, and you ask to your friend or your girlfriend or your sister or your brother, can you feel this and that? Probably they won't see. And they won't feel what you feel. And that's normal, because the love and passion that we have for this world, it's very strong. It's really something that is inside, and they don't have it, of course. They might have other talents, other passions, but not that one. But what does it make really car design really special is the fact that the actors that make car design in the world, designers, design managers, modelers, virtual modelers, and mainly also I would say real modelers on manual modeling. All those people have a particular type of feeling for the shape, for the balance, for the design itself, for the taste, a particular taste. And all that thing, it's something that gets us into a particular type of mood. It looks like we are drugged, but we are not. But we are so much taken by the subject that we often behave and act according to this visceral passion that we have. So, said that, let's get into the topic of today. When I wrote the title of my post, "Don't," in red, it means that I'm trying to warn you about something. And I warn you because I went through that and I made that mistake. So I'm going to talk to you about something today, always about designing, of course, that will help you to learn how to control yourself, especially at the early stages of your student career or your young designer career, okay, so that you can be more prepared in catching up, developing your critical eye, looking at things or what you do or other people's stuff, and then have a more detached position to really make an honest judgment that is not influenced strongly only by your passion, okay? So only by your love, from your love. The don't today is don't over design your designs. I repeat it. Please don't over design your designs, your projects. Mr. Patil, hello sir, when are you planning to visit India again? I remember you came at the time of Renault Studio opening in China. Yes, Patil, it's true. Yesterday I was talking about this with an Indian colleague, Sandeep, in the studio. And yeah, very nice memory. Souvenir. To be honest, it's not planned for me to go to India in this period or in the near future, but you never know, it might happen. All right, so let's come back to our topic. When we sketch at the beginning, we are very much influenced, this is very normal, by everything we see. We do not have a mental and an age maturity to select what is good and what is bad, because we are in the learning process, in the very early stage of the learning process, especially about car design. So at that age, we talk about design. Today it's easier because we can communicate, but in my time, if I would say I like the design of that car, my father would look at me and say, what the hell are you talking about? At the same time, my father had a very good taste, and we always beautiful cars in the family, because he also developed this taste, for the design. He had an eye for the beautiful cars, but he would not use the word design. Look at that detail, look at that shape. For him, it was a lot simpler. I like the car. I feel good in that car, and that was it. I took probably a little bit of that passion, but in a stronger way. And then with the time, I learned that there was design. And then I learned what it was design, okay? And then when I went to school, I learned that design is made of many things. And you construct design. And what helps you to make design is your talent. First, your passion, because it's the great motivation, Then you must have a certain type of talent, and then your skills, which is the way you draw, the way you illustrate, the way everybody can see what you have in mind, the way you can communicate. When we start making the sketches at the very beginning, we put a lot of details. The tendency is that, wait a minute, I forgot the little thing. Wait a minute, I forgot the little hinge. I forgot the antenna on the hood, on the top of the car. There is a little rubber part here. I have to sketch that in. Or if you are making a new design, you have a nice side view. You have a surface that has a lots of reflections. So with the surface that, of course, has a lot of different type of changes. And you are able to sketch that with markers and highlights and stuff. Then you look at it, and because you are in love with the fact that you were able to illustrate that complex shape, you look at it and you say, that's a beautiful work. Then I see those sketches. I see them on Facebook group. I see them on Instagram. Sometimes the students that I have with me during my online course, especially the beginning, they do that. And then, of course, I realize that, no, you are complicating your life. it's a lot easier than that. You don't have to be that complicated. You have to express yourself, but the key word, especially at the beginning, when you are in the learning part, in the learning stage, is simplicity. You must be simple. Ciao Sayed, welcome back. Happy to be here. So the most important thing when I say don't over design your designs is that very often in some portfolios, especially when the portfolio is made of projects that are very old, then there are newer projects, more recent projects, but when we see right away the difference between what is old and what is new. Why? Because during those periods, you already made a better transition in terms of understanding shapes, understanding balanced design. And if we listen to the grande maestro Giorgetto Giugiaro, that everybody knows, he always said, and he says still today, the secret, the key factor to make an excellent design already from the starting is the proportion and the simplicity. Because when you have a very good proportion set up and a simple body, then it's a lot easier to add things. Maybe it's too simple. Well, okay. Then you can decide where you're going to add a reflection and how you're going to do it. So, if we start with things that are already complicated, I've seen side views with 3 lines on the side, reflection that are like a zeta shape in the back, big fenders in the back, in the front, everything very squarish. When you look at all this, you tell yourself, I cannot read. I don't understand. And even if I tell you, come on, look at this, can you see that it's complicated? The first reaction you guys always have is, but I like it. I know you like it, but that's not the point. The point is that you have to become critical, okay? Don't fall in love right away with your first sketches. It's not a good thing. Because you need to go through a process of sketching. Many times I do my sketches with markers, a little bit of chalk, as you know. And I always get lots of compliments on the sketches that are very well rendered. The chalk is well done, the marker stroke is perfect, the highlight, I was able to put the highlight really nice and stuff. But are the sketches that are very simple. When I have a sketch that has a very strange side view, maybe coming down with a highlight that is doing like that, and then I put a hole in the side, and therefore there is another shape because of the hole, and therefore it becomes complicated. And if I do everything big, everything is in conflict. You have to understand that design is a language. There is what we call the form language or the sign language. And this is part of any product. But on cars, it's very important because you really see it, because cars are big. So when you look at cars that are very complicated, you realize that something is wrong. Now, I give you another example. I don't know if you make models, virtual models, using Alias, Reno, I don't know, other softwares, like Blender, whatever. In general, when you are young and you did not start school yet, and therefore you don't have anybody that teaches you how to make a model in 3D, which are the basics to start, You guys, the first thing you want to do, you want to model the body of the car. Sometimes you put the wheels after. You are concentrating on your body. Okay? Okay, only strike. Good. Ciao, Sayed. Sayed, it's the same message of before. Okay. So, what happens is that you are worried about that, and you look at your sketch, and then making the model, you start having some difficulties. And that's normal because nobody taught you. You are starting to learn on your own. You go and search on YouTube how to do this, how to do that. Ciao Silvano, benvenuto. So you go and search for all those tutorials. But one thing that the tutorial does not teach you, it cannot teach you, is that there are some steps that you have to make when you make a virtual model, that if you do those steps, you make those steps correctly, it's very simple. Make a modification on that surface. For example, a side view, a top view, a front bumper will be very easy, because following those steps according to the software, it's very simple to make those changes. And those can be local changes. Instead, when you are starting on your own just like that, because you want to go fast, you have only 2 months, and you don't have anybody, and you want to make a model, what happens is that you do everything, you make the construction of your model complicated already, and when you move something, everything is moving. So you don't have the real full control of the shape, of the full side view. Because if you move something, you reach to move something else. So what happens? That you start adding details and you cannot clean up. So your model renderings, with all the graphics that you put, at the end, result very, very complicated. Believe me, they are complicated. And therefore, when I see those, I always pray that you don't put those in your portfolio to get an internship or to get a job. I can justify if you do that because you want to get into a design school. Because if you want to get a design school, me as the school, I would say, well, he's showing really strong passion, and this guy or this girl tried already on its own to make a model. That's nice. But we're gonna teach you how to do it. You understand? But for an internship, you cannot put those models. They are all flat because you have a hard time in understanding how to balance, how to balance roundness. Also in your sketches, the same problem. Because you are at the very early stage, you cannot sketch yet with a very nice top view section. I know, to my students, I always say, can you feel that your car is flat? I know why. Look, and then I explain with sections. If your front wheel is here, your overhang is just next to the wheel, how can you turn here? From the side to the front. You don't have space. So your front is a piece of paper, flat. It's true. I didn't think about that. Because you were alone, now you have somebody is telling you to help you out. And when you go on model making, you have to think the same way. Especially on model making, because to start a model, you need sections. Mr. Serkan Budur, ciao Luciano, seeing your live stream by coincidence. Okay, welcome back. Welcome. You're welcome. I'm glad you're still doing this. I'm sure it's helping lots of students. Thank you very much, Budur. Thank you very much. And thanks for being with us. All right, so the advice that I give you is try to remember that in the learning process, there are stages, okay? If you are at a very early stage because you are not yet in school, or you are at the first year in school where you are learning how to use your skills, and therefore how to use your creativity, because thanks to your skills you can show your creativity. You have to learn how to be simple, because if you are simple, you can judge proportions much better. You can judge what is missing on that design. It's much better to add something than to take off something from a design. Because to add, it means to help that design to improve. To take off is I have a design and I'm pointing to that, my finger to that design, therefore I have to rethink about it. That is more complicated. All right. So I would like to make a very quick demo for you. I have a piece of paper here, okay? So I change camera, okay? Let's see. Here we go. All right. Wow, in the right spot right away. All right. So I will make. Ciao, Jacob. How are you? Welcome back. So I will make two examples. Okay. So I have one example that is this one. Okay. I show you what I see sometimes, okay? Okay, so sometimes I see sketches like this, okay? Like this. Now, if I take this part, only this, here, only this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 changes in this little part. You understand what I mean? So this is the first thing you have to learn. You take your piece of paper, you go in parts, and then you decide, then you check how many things you have. And then people put also, like this, like that. Then they put the door handle. They put this. And then sometimes I find also, the rear view mirror. And then a little bit of a sort of a front grille. So this is an example. Now, if I take a marker, okay, let me take a marker. This one. You see, the design is complicated. Then there is another thing that we have to think of here. This is the reflection of the glass, okay? So I have a look at the section here. It's coming down, comes out, comes a little bit down, comes out again, like that. Look at this point. There is no space there. You see? There is no space. So, I will show you one thing. Now, I do this, I do this, I do this, I do this, I do that. This is my wheel, right? I draw my wheel. This is top view. It's almost like a technical drawing, okay? Very important. That's my wheel. Now I want to do my bumper. But look what happens. I need some space for the wheel. So I can start here. But this is the center line, which is, this is the center line. So how do I do a bumper like that? It's impossible. I would rather to do something like this, you know, as a bumper. So if I do that, I transfer my new point here. Look at the difference. Now I have a front. You see the difference? So this is just a quick example to show you that you must be very careful about these elements when you have too many details in a small place. Okay, that's rule number one. Now I will give you, now I will make a quick sketch, really quick, about what I would do. As a start, before I decide how this design it's gonna be, no? The first thing I want to understand is and I make a little bit a very similar design, and not very complicated, not very different. But you see the difference between those two? Now, when I look at this, okay, this is just a line drawing, very quick, you know, this goes to the trash, huh? But when I start putting a little bit of line quality, what do I have? I start having something that gives me the feeling of how this car can become. Look. You see, I'm working on the outline because I want to understand. You see, I'm changing there. Look. And then it's very important, this point here, because it's dynamic. You know, I'm trying to make sure that my car has this type of attitude, you know. Then I put my wheel well. And now that I have my wheel well, I have my pull-up light here. Because this is very, how can I say, very strong in terms of graphics, I play with a very simple volume. Very simple. I have some sculpture. You see the pull-up light here. In this area it's coming out, therefore my reflections come out like that. So now let's take my marker. Now when we look at those, okay, don't forget to put the perspective feeling, the perspective feeling on the shadow. It helps a lot. You see? So that's what I want from you. This is a design that is simple. It's a base. You know, you can retrace this, you can keep the outline and change everything inside. Very easy. This one is so complicated that if you want to change this one, you have to do a different design. All right. So I hope that my explanation, okay, was good. I mean, that you guys understand what I mean when I say don't overdo your designs, okay? So, the best way to try to learn how not to overdo your designs is that you sketch. You do your sketches, okay? Now, you have to you don't sleep at night, don't worry. But then you have to put all your sketches up on the wall. In your room, in your bedroom, wherever. Put it up on the wall, leave them there. And every time that you pass by and you look at your sketch, think about it. What is simple? Is it complicated? It's something, oh, that detail is too much. You know, that's what I want you to do. And I don't want you to sketch right away the alternative. I want you to take some days to look at your sketches or other sketches you already done, put them up on the wall and look at them. Look at them, because when you compare what you do to what professional designers do, and you can find on Instagram a lot of beautiful professional designer sketches, Photoshops, whatever you want, everything is there. Then you will realize that in general, all the designs that are made, that go to production or that become concept cars, they start always from a very basic, simple shape and really good proportions. Then you will find really interesting details, and those details have the right size. They're not too big, they're not too small. If you do a lot of details on something that is so small, it's useless, and you are complicating that detail. So the size impression, it's very important what you do inside a model or on a surface, okay? All right, so I hope that was clear. If you want to ask questions, please do. If you want to pay me a tip with the super stick or super charger, whatever, do it, okay? Thank you. If you want to put a like to the video, that would make me very, very happy, okay? So please, if you have questions, now is the time. It's 6 o'clock. We have 15 minutes still to be together. Okay. So the message of today: do not overdo your designs. Don't over design your projects, because you just complicate yourself life in a not useful way. Voilà. Only striker, very clear. Okay, great. You know, the simple things, you know, are always what it works the best. I remember when I was a student and sometimes I had a problem in creating something, I would start from the boxes, you know, in perspective, and then I would start, you know, cutting sections, making the shading of the new section, and little by little I was making a sculpture, sketching. And that was a way, you know, step by step, to get to something that was at the end interesting. Maybe not very beautiful at once, but it was a good start. And that gave me the opportunity to take that thing and then start the process of tracing. Because tracing is very important. You trace your ideas to improve your ideas or to make alternatives. You know? So that's why it's very important that you learn that step by step, that you keep in mind that you don't want to overdo things. And sometimes when you are ready with your hands to make an extra detail, stop your hand and say, I'm gonna do it tomorrow, not today. So that you can sleep, think about it, and maybe the day after you realize that it's useless. Ciao, Phil! How are you? Welcome back. So how is life, Phil? Long time I don't hear from you. Okay. All right. So I'm waiting a few more minutes for questions, and if we don't have questions, we can also, you know, wish to each other a very good weekend. Today is Friday, Magic Friday. Okay. By the way, if you want to become, if you want to subscribe to this channel because you are new, just subscribe, okay? We're learning all from each other, okay? From me, from you, from everybody. The second thing I want to say that you can become a member. Two ways of becoming a member. You can be just a supporter for a few cents per month, okay? And you get 15% discount on my ebook. Or you can become fidelity supporter. It's a little bit more than a couple of dollars per month, and you get a specific video per week plus 50% of my discount on my ebooks. All right, so that would be great. And if you are nothing of all this and you just want to, just put a like, and I'll be very, very happy to receive your like. I will require some expert interviews in the future about design, language, transportation for qualitative analysis for my thesis. I would love to have your input for it. Yes, Only Striker, it's no problem. Contact me via Instagram when you are ready, and we set up a meeting, okay? Jacob, can you do a video on package ideation, final package drawings? Okay, Jacob, I will make that. I was thinking this 2 weeks ago, so you gave me the good idea. I'll write it down. Package design. All right, no problem. I work on van right now. Okay, cool. Bravo, Phil. Mr. Patil. So basically, I'm working on an Orca Hill-inspired underwater exploration vehicle. Okay. How to find the perfect balance between literal and abstract design. And you know what? Dimitri could help you about that. No, you know what you should do? First of all, I suggest you something very simple. First of all, I am sure that you already did your research. You did a bench before you start sketching, you know, in order to put ideas, inspirations, so that you know exactly more or less what to do. And then you start sketching. So you have to find the balance, design of the shapes of this project, that Orca project you are making, according to the environment in which this project or this vehicle, this device will stay, will be. That's very important. And then you are going to say, because when you make a car that is between buildings, it's one thing. If you put the same car underwater in that type of environment, I don't think you would sketch a car like that. You know, of course not. So now I didn't see anything. Dimitri's laughing. We know why we are laughing. Eh? Don't worry, it's not about you, because it's about another project. Okay, so Patil, I think that I didn't see anything, but if you want to show me something via Instagram, you can send me an image, okay, just a pic, so I can check it out. But in general, you can have also a good inspiration from space ship design, you know, fantasy movie design, where they have a lot of these big vehicle, big things, and in general they are simple, but they have lots of technical details. So the balance probably is gonna be between what is technical and what is the overall shape, size, impression, mass, you know, body. Okay,